Hey, what's up? I'm Ga. We're back in Outerplane. We got a new character to talk about. Her name is Mero. She is a Halloween-themed horror fanatic movie maker. A character we got a little too late thematically. You know, she probably should have showed up around Halloween time, but nevertheless, here she is. Let's talk about her. So she is a fire ranger. Fire didn't really need a whole lot more help, but here she is. So she's going to be fast. As a ranger, her transcend is accuracy boost, which is pretty nice. And for her skills, starting with probably the most underwhelming one, I guess, would be her chain skill. Basically, she just inflicts marked, which, if you don't know, marked basically makes the target take more damage. It's pretty solid, mostly going to be used in PvE. For the upcoming Epsilon Guild Raid, she should be pretty good, as well as in any Earth hunts. Now for her skill 1, 80% chance to activate dual attack, which is pretty nice. This is kind of like Valentine's skill 1 if you have her exclusive equipment, except a higher percent chance and doesn't give a priority boost. But having a high percent chance to do a dual attack on your skill 1 is just very nice. It'll make your DPS kind of get that extra pop of damage. So very good skill here, very solid, basic, simple, but good. For her skill 2, basically when she's healed, it reduces the cooldown of this skill, and it gives lifesteal to all allies, which heals 20% of the damage that they do. It is not significant, but not insignificant. Like, in a high DPS team, Mero basically removes the need for a healer, assuming you can clear the content quickly enough. And her bread and butter is going to be her ult. So it increases all allies' attack and accuracy for 2 turns, and then she gains immortality for 1 turn, which basically says her health can't be reduced below 1. So it's kind of like invincibility, except it puts her at like 1 HP basically, assuming she takes enough damage. So overall, she's a very good utility character, kind of in the same role as Cindy, who also increases attack and accuracy, but she's fire element and doesn't extend buffs like Cindy does. Instead, she provides healing and dual attacks. So overall, a very good support character for the fire element, and just in general, she is quite good. Especially if you pair her up with someone like Valentine, who can also increase crit rate and crit damage. Now you have accuracy and attack buffs, and healing, and just a bunch of dual attacks to go along with that. Now, to tie into her ult and her immortality, her exclusive equipment increases damage dealt by all allies proportional to Mero's missing health. So essentially what you want to do is use her ult and then try to take a bunch of damage to get maximum value out of this. It is essentially the same effect as the sledgehammer, which would be the violent sledgehammer. It is literally the same effect, except in an exclusive equipment for Mero and a team-wide buff. So there is potential for large amounts of attack boosts from Mero's support. So overall, she is, like I said, very good utility character to have on just about any team. Is she necessary? Is she a staple? At the moment, I would probably say no, but she is a very nice character to have in your roster for when you might need something her kit can provide. Now, as far as builds go, you're going to be wanting to run her on maximum speed. I do not have her on maximum speed right now because I have her set up prepped for the upcoming guild raid, and you don't really need much more than this amount of speed, but ideally you'd probably want to push her closer to 330, or as close to it as you can, for her role in, I don't know, like PvP or in, you know, some other kinds of content. She's going to want to have lots and lots of speed, so that she can apply her buffs, get her, forgot the name of it already, get her immortality, and keep spamming out dual attacks as fast and as often as she can. So when building her, just focus on speed, and then whatever crit or attack stats that you can get is fine. If you're running her in PvP, you might want to consider putting on an immunity set, simply because Dahlia and Tamara are still fairly popular, and if you want to use Mero as a support in PvP, you might, you know, not be able to have her go first, especially considering Dahlia's exclusive equipment makes her zoom. So potentially putting her on immunity plus swiftness could be the play, just maximizing your speed outside of that, so that once Mero gets to go, I mean, she should be able to take hits from Tamara and Dahlia, at least one, and then fire off her ult, and then gain immortality, and continue along with her game plan from there. But if you're using her exclusively in PvE like I am, getting her to around 250 speed and then just trying to min-max her damage after that will work perfectly well enough. And as you can see, this is my Mero for the upcoming Epsilon Guild Raid. Now, as far as other parts of this update, at least other big parts, it's really just characters. 2 changes were made to a couple of characters. Well, 2 changes were made to characters, right? 2 characters were changed. The first one is Ame. Her skills got changed, her exclusive equipment got changed. This now changed from dealing extra damage to boss enemies to dealing extra damage to water enemies, which is fine because they put the extra damage to boss enemies in one of her skills. Let me see if I can find it. Right here. Passive effect increases crit chance by 10% and increases damage dealt against bosses. So her boss slaying abilities are just inherent without her exclusive equipment. And if you want extra damage against water enemies, which is very good against, you know, the Mines in PvP, or against any water hunts, or against the Maxwell Guild Raid, they basically just straight up increased the damage that she's capable of in Guild Raid. It's just insane, because now you have the extra damage against bosses and the extra damage against water. She is going to be absolutely annihilating in content that she, you know, is brought to, like water hunts and Maxwell Guild Raid. They also changed the way that her 2 bonus attacks work. So the Ume Urchin and the Sakura Churu kind of changed a little bit. They basically kind of flip-flopped the HP thresholds, but now this one, her second one, always deals elemental advantage as far as damage goes, and it attacks all enemies, which is really good. So overall, Ame came out of this update looking even stronger than she was already. Like, she was already, you know, one of the highest damaging characters in the game, kind of up there even with like Aste, I would say. Maybe not in terms of like AoE damage, but in terms of single target damage, she absolutely just annihilated, and was an absolute boss killing unit. Now she's even better. So she's also up on banner right now, so if you don't have her, I highly recommend picking her up, because she She's really strong. Now, the next one they changed is Therapy. So, they changed a couple of Therapy's skills. So, her skill 2 used to be this weird debuff that lowered healing for both teams. They changed that into unhealable. And the reason that they even touched Therapy is because they were looking at PvP stuff. They're like, hey, Therapy is not really used, and this isn't really going to change anything, honestly. What Therapy did before her buff to what she does now, it doesn't really change anything. Like, she's going to be used the same way in the same content, which is to say basically not at all. She is like a fantastic design, and her kit is really good. She's just held back by the fact that she is a defender. Now, if she were a ranger and had this skill set, she would be very strong in terms of her support, but she's not. She's a defender, and unless unhealable also means unrevivable, this is not very good either, because in PvP it's kind of like a one-shot meta with revives, and in PvE there's not really a whole lot of enemies that heal themselves unless they come out with like a light guild raid boss that heals, and you'll want Therapy for that. But as it stands, you know, there's not really much reason to use her still. So, you know, if she ever comes back around, you can rest easy knowing that you don't have to pull for her. And that's pretty much it. Those are all the updates. We got Guild Raid coming soon-ish, like in a month or something like that. So I'm busy prepping all my fire characters for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the update, new character, and a couple of character changes. I'll link the full update patch notes in the description if you guys want to check that out for yourself. But really, those three things were the big meat and potatoes of the update. Let me know what you guys think about Mero. I think she is very fun. Her animations are very colorful. Her personality is very colorful. I am enjoying this character quite a bit so far, but you know, let me know what you guys think, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.